everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann, and this is the award-winning Fan Show. Thank you. It is good to be here. It is Thursday, and we have a lot going on, including, obviously, our Week 4 Pick'em, my top 3 picks for if you're in Survivor pools with the NFL. Don't have fantasy advice for you. In fact, I won half my leagues and lost the other half, so really, you can if you want. You can ask me if you want. I just can't guarantee you I'm going to give you sound advice, but I'm still here for you, Fan Nation. I am. That's right. Everyone's a fan of something. We've got something for every fan, including if you're a fan of really bad fantasy football advice. So, with that, I wanted to go ahead and jump into our day. We're going to have a good one here. I am very excited about everything that has been going on. We have a special guest for you, an interview that I just wrapped up with, and I thought it was fantastic. We have breaking news, we have headlines, we have all the good stuff going on. Welcome, Barry, Matt, Adam. I see we've got Ant on here, and Rodney. Good to see you guys. We're going to talk about everything. So without any more delay, then let's dive right in. Episode 433 of the Fan Show begins now. And, of course, headlines are brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. Dynamite Enterprises wants to customize your world. They want to do everything from stickers to helmets to hats to t-shirts to tablecloths, table runners, banners. They could probably do socks. They do jerseys, too, for those of you that are maybe coaches or managers of, like, Little League or Pop Warner teams. They do all your equipment needs. They can customize that as well. You name it, they can customize it. If you visit their website, you can see firsthand what all they have customized, and that is dynamiteenterprises.com. And we also have a lot of stuff that they can do that maybe they haven't tried yet. So if there's something that you don't see on the website, hit up Ethan, and that is Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com. He'll go over everything that they can and can't do, and we'll see what they can come up with. And if nothing more, then at least the customer service is going to be primo, because there's been a few things that I've gotten from them that I wasn't happy with the first go-around, and I told them, and they fixed it without question. So it's great to know that there's still that kind of top-level customer service out there. So Dynamite Enterprises, and we have breaking news for the first time in a long time, and for some of you, you have seen this. For others, you have not. Amir Ishmael has been announced as the Iowa Barnstormers' new head coach in the Indoor Football League. Very happy for Amir. I did not see this coming. In fact, very, very funny story. There was a message that I got immediately after the announcement was made, and I shared it, and I was shocked. I really was, because I had a whole different candidate picked out, but I'm sure that we'll find out reasons why maybe Amir took it and why the other individual did not. But the message was very funny. It said, "See, people can even keep secrets from Richard and the Fan Show." Well done. Bravo. Bravo to you for keeping secrets from me. It's not an easy thing to do, because Fan Show knows. That's right. Fan Show does know, and Fan Show knows that this is a great fit for Iowa. I don't think there's going to be any kind of a hiccup. They're not going to miss a step, a beat. They're going to be contenders once again. So let's go ahead and recap here while we're in the moment, right? You're going to tell me that the 2020 IFL season, which as of right now is comprised of what? Which should be 14 teams, hopefully 16 when it's all said and done. But you have some of the biggest offseason expansion. You have an ownership with a former NFL star in Marshawn Lynch for the Oakland team. You have the return of the Spokane Shock. If the rumors are true in Spokane, then that means head coach Billy Back, formerly of the Cobras, formerly of the Wichita Falls Nighthawks, will be the new Spokane head coach. So 2020, you're going to have all these teams, West Coast and Pacific Northwest establishment, as well as all the Midwest down to the South. And coaches like Amir Ishmael, Billy Back, Kevin Guy, Dixie Wooten, Pig Brown are all going to be in the same league competing against each other as head coaches. This is going to be insane. It really is. I cannot wait. I really can't. And it looks like we got more people joining us on the live stream. What's up, Keith, Jerry, Nigel, good to see you. Chris, also good to see you. Adam says call him Ishmael. Yes, Coach Ishmael to you. This is a great pickup for Iowa. I don't care who you are. It is a really good get. So congratulations, Iowa Barnstormers. I have it on very good authority that they will announce their first player signing tomorrow. Do not know who that is. And no, that's not me playing dumb. I really don't know who it is. But yes, there are certain things that even I don't know. And I feel like that's very cocky of me to say, but at the same time, it's like, I think about it, there's really like not a lot that I don't know that's going on in the Indoor Football League. In other news, though, which we'll do our question of the day after we do Pick'em, because I know that you guys are mainly tuning in to hear my thoughts on the other breaking news from earlier today. So first question that we will ask you guys joining me on the live stream on Facebook Live is Iowa, are they contenders, playoff and or United Bowl with head coach Amir Ishmael? I think they are. So first question for you guys is that. And let's go ahead and get through our pick'em because I don't really want to get too far into that. We do have a game tonight, Thursday Night Football, and that should be a lot of fun. It is the Eagles and the Packers in Green Bay. I'm going to go ahead and pick Green Bay. I've picked the Eagles twice now this season, and they've let me down both times. So enough of that. Green Bay is at home. It's prime time. They could lose. But then again, I kind of picked that game, that odd scenario game, to be last week against Denver. I think Green Bay, Rodgers in prime time at home is a different kind of beast. It's not a matchup you want if you're not a fan of the Packers and if you're a fan of the team playing the Packers in that particular scenario. So it's really good football tonight. I'm going to go with Packers, like I said. I don't think that's you could use it as your survivor pool. So we'll go ahead and say number one on that one is tonight's game. But we all know my dislike for Thursday Night Football and how uneasy and unsettling it is. Like, I don't even like playing guys in my fantasy league that have a Thursday night game. So I'm definitely not going to use a Thursday night game as my survivor pool pick'em. Eagles, Packers, Redskins, Giants. Are the Redskins bad enough that we can pick a Daniel Jones-led Giants team without even breaking a sweat? I mean, without second-guessing ourselves? Should that be a survivor pool pick'em game? I'm going to go with the Giants. They're at home. And the Redskins, they looked almost as terrible as the Miami Dolphins, and that is hard to do. So there's that game for you. Chargers at Miami. The Chargers really disappointed me last week. I'm not saying that Miami could get the win at home, but this game doesn't make me very confident to pick an away team going from the West Coast to the East Coast. So I'm going to avoid that. I will pick the Chargers, but I don't think that that's a survivor pick'em. Raiders and Colts. I will go with the Colts. The Raiders could win this game. This would be the kind of game that they could go on the road and win. I don't see it happening. Again, not a survivor pool pick'em game, but I will pick the Colts. Panthers at Texans. Oh, boy. I'm going to say Texans at home. This one I do feel pretty confident about. Texans are a very good team. Panthers, they looked good last week, but again, that was against a struggling and, they're trying to find their identity Cardinals team. So we'll see. Chiefs at the Lions, two undefeated teams. I'm going to go with Chiefs on the road. I think this is a good pick for a survivor pick'em pool, but hopefully it's not a game that the Chiefs have overlooked because that's exactly when they would lose this kind of game. And, of course, we have the Patriots and the Bills, both 3-0. Patriots, probably a good pick, but they're on the road in Buffalo, and this Buffalo team has just been a weird story. I don't even feel confident picking the Patriots. I can't, though. I already picked them last week against the Jets, so that game's out. I will say that the Patriots will probably beat the Bills on the road. That's the safe bet, right? The Patriots? Yeah, that makes sense. Browns on the road against the Ravens. I'll say the Ravens. A divisional matchup. The Ravens look really, really good right now. I could say that this would probably be another good choice for a survivor pool pick'em. Titans at Falcons. Ooh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Titans look like a mess against the Jaguars. Give me the Falcons, reluctantly. Ugh, I don't like it. It tastes... Falcons? Ugh. Anyway, Buccaneers at Rams. This one should be an easy one for the Rams. So, and when I say that, they go and lose to the Buccaneers. But again, you have a team traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast. Never a good matchup there. Rams, this would be a really good one for a survivor pool if you haven't picked the Rams yet. Seahawks at Cardinals. Seahawks really need to get back into that win column, especially on the road since they lost at home. So I guess go with the Seahawks on that one. But this is a weird Seahawks team. Jaguars at Broncos. God, do we want to hop on the Gardner Minshew train already? Is that what we're doing? Are we already there? What the hell? I'll go with the Jaguars on the road against Denver. Why not? That'll be my crazy pick of the week. The Vikings over the Bears, or Vikings at the Bears. I will pick the Bears. And then the Cowboys and the Saints. This was one that we talked about a little bit Tuesday. Cowboys 3-0, Saints 2-1, but coming off a big win in Seattle. I'm going to go with the Saints over the Cowboys to give them their first loss. Bengals at the Steelers. Ugh, this is a dumpster fire. The Steelers, I guess. Ugh, my team's on a bye week, so I really don't have a horse in this race at all. Like I have to sit back and watch teams that aren't mine and be like, yeah, go guy. So our survivor pool top three are the Rams over the Bucks, the Ravens over the Browns, and then of course if you haven't picked the Patriots already, which if you're saving that for a rainy day, cool. Usually people pick them right out of the gate. Then the Patriots over the Bills. And if you need one that isn't a Patriots one, obviously the Chiefs and the Lions. So there is my pick'em for week 4 in my survivor pool top 3. Adam says, Fan Show knows what you did last summer. I did, and Stacy's mom has got it going on. And let's see here. Barry says, I hope Connor and Ryan come back. Yeah, I would like to see them come back. Ryan, though, has a very close relationship with Dixie Wooten. That's a tough one. Thursday Night Football, nobody wins with Thursday. And then whoever Clifford Ford is. Cool. Keith says, yes. Let's see. Great chance to make the playoffs for Amir as the new head coach. It comes down to players and does most of their, as it does most of the time. Players execute, they win. Nigel says, thoughts on CIF-NAL? I know. Let's see. Chiefs by 20. That's a very good prediction there as well. And let's see what else we've got. Nigel says it's going to be interesting. Or David to Nigel says it's going to be interesting. And Adam says, famous Jameis. Yeah. No, I don't buy it. Hey, Dean, good to see you there as well. Okay, we'll get to what you guys tuned in for. I know what. I'm not stalling. There was just other stuff to talk about, and that's the truth of the matter. And you guys can go ahead and chime in on this one because it is our question of the day. Is the CIF-NAL partnership a desperate move or a genius move? I said earlier this week that, I thought it was a desperate move. Even if the Amazon thing is true, it's like you've got to consider quality of product, right? The Ranch, one of my favorite shows. It's on Netflix. It's not on an ABC, NBC, CBS. You have to subscribe. You have to have a subscription with Netflix to get that. It's not available on basic cable. Not that basic cable is a thing, but, humor me here. It's not availability. It is quality of product. And I really feel for the teams in the NAL because I think Jacksonville Sharks are a great franchise, and this is going to be technically the third league that they've bounced around to in the last 5 years. And then, the Cobras losing head coach Billy Back. What's going to happen with them? Massachusetts leaving the league. And so you have Maine coming back, and Maine did great towards the end of the season before they had to go on their little break. But also, you look at the things that have happened. Columbus is a great franchise as well. But the CIF, there's more teams wanting to leave the CIF than trying to join the CIF. So you put that on Amazon. It's like a show that, is all this hype and then it gets canceled after a season. It's like it was on NBC primetime on Thursday. Like you get the best spot ever and then it's gone. I I really don't see it working. Jose and I actually talk about it in our interview that's going to be coming up in a little bit. But it was made official. Their partnership is official. I still believe it's going to be the two conferences. There will be two interconference games, one home, one away, and it's going to be a 12-game season. But, yeah, you look up the geography on this, it's going to be tough. And Jose pointed out a bunch of things that I didn't even think about initially. So I will ask you guys to go ahead and chime in here, the question of the day. And we had a lot of people answer so far on Facebook. And I will go ahead and go to my the personal page of mine right now. Where is that? Okay, so we had Brandon Russell, who says he thinks it's both. Without the merger, both leagues are on the path of failing. But it also shows that a bigger league can be formed if people put their egos aside. It's going to be very interesting to see where people sit with that last sentiment, considering the news that's going to come out of the IFL later on, because the news that's coming out of the IFL was part of the hiccup and snag when the NAL and the IFL were talking, which, whether they admit it or not, like, I still believe that conversation happened. Because more people told me that it was happening than people told me that it didn't happen. Chris Hill says, I think if you have a partner who's making moves and technically paying for the extra travel expenses, it only makes sense to do it. Very true. I mean, if you can, why not? And Kenneth says it's a desperate move with a GIF. Adam says it's going to be a disaster with a GIF. And Jeremy Anderson says, first thoughts are desperation. We'll see what all comes out of it. Nigel, he's out. Smitty, he's out too. So there we have our question of the day and some answers. But Jose, when him and I talked, and I said, you don't really have a dog in this fight. You're an unbiased third party. Now, we're both biased to the IFL, but as far as like looking at other leagues and being like, I wonder what they're up to, like there's not really any sort of personal feelings or anything like that. I don't like the CIF. I have no really, I like the NAL, so I'm kind of split 50-50 there. But he pointed out a lot of things that I didn't even think about, and you guys can hear that in the interview also. So your thoughts as we continue here with this this stream that we've got going on. It's been a great episode so far. The Pick'em, Survivor Pool, breaking news. I think Amir is going to make them a fantastic team. I really do. And I hope that he can get a lot of the players that he wants and everything, and can bring them to the postseason and then hopefully another championship. But I will let you guys chime in here and tell me. We'll still keep with both questions before we kick it over to Spreaker and my interview with Jose Jefferson. I have submitted my proposal to the people that it needs to be submitted to. There's a few other that I need to send that email off to, but I'm hoping for the best for my proposal for the IFL. We'll see what comes of that. But one more quick time for Iowa. Congratulations on landing Amir Ishmael. I think it is a great fit. And let's see here. Got Keith Witt saying, come to Spokane. And then Adam says, it'll be Iowa versus Sioux Falls for the Battle of the Midwest. Really? Nigel says, wonder if anyone from the AAL will join the CIF NAL party. I don't know. There's a few teams from the AAL that I think might fit the bill, but it's tough. Beyond the IFL, CIF, NAL, it really gets watered down, and I think we can all agree on that. But the funny thing is that even with this partnership or merger, whatever you want to call it, the IFL still has, in my opinion, the better core crop of talent and head coaches. I mean, they really do. Carolina is without a head coach right now. They could make a slam dunk, touchdown, home run with whoever they pick next. But, I mean, you have so much talent converging onto the IFL. You have so much opportunity with the expansion happening with the IFL. That Amazon deal or not, merger, partnership or not, I still believe, and my bias is showing, sorry, I'll get that fixed, that the IFL is the place to be. So that's my 2 cents on it. And I see here that we've got Dylan watching. We've got John joining, Coach Roberson. Good to see you guys. So the question of the day is the CIF-NAL partnership a desperate move or a genius move? Let me check to see if I have any further comments on my personal page here. Oh, also, it was announced today that J-Lo and Shakira will be the halftime performers for this year's Super Bowl. And my thought was, it's your 100th season, and you're going to have Shakira and J-Lo as your performers. Apparently the Foo Fighters are in Europe that month, so they were unavailable. But did they even ask the Foo Fighters? Because that's the kind of band, that's the kind of act you want to get for your 100th season. 100th season. And let's see what else we've got here. Adam says, Weird Al for the Super Bowl halftime show. Hey, I'm for it. It would really break up the mediocre halftime shows that we have had. And in all honesty, I mean, I can't think of the last great halftime show I ever saw. There's one that like stands out, but that's because the game was so terrible. It was the Bruno Mars one, and it was the Seattle-Denver Super Bowl. I mean, that was a blowout. That was a little ugly. So, and let's see here. Adam says he'll be okay with the Foo Fighters for the halftime. I would hope that you would, Adam. I really do, because the Foo Fighters are kind of awesome. So let's go ahead and recap one more time. We did our pick'em. We did our Survivor picks, the top 3 for you guys that are in Survivor pools. We've got Eagles and Packers coming up in about the next 30 minutes, or an hour, I guess I should say, is technically when kickoff is. And we've got Jose Jefferson coming up. We've got the CIF-NAL merger partnership that has happened, and the question of the day. And then the breaking news, Amir Ishmael is the new head coach for the Iowa Barnstormers. I do appreciate when people tell me that I am a media member of integrity because, like I said on Tuesday, I don't care about being first. I only want to be right. I want to be accurate and correct with it. And there's a lot of information that I've sat on. It's just I don't feel right going and blabbing away everything that I hear. So I will sit on a lot of the information that I hear until the time is right. And most of the time, if it leaks, it's like, 2 truths and a lie. You have 3 details total. 1, maybe 2 of them are accurate, and then 1 is just way off in left field. And, I don't know if Iowa did have a conversation with Marcus Coleman, if he was a candidate or not. I had heard that he was from a few different people. I still think Amir is obviously a great win for them as far as landing a new head coach, but I didn't even know that he was an option. Like, I thought he was happy in Albion, coaching for college teams in Michigan. But it will be great to have him back in the IFL. It really will. So I think that's going to do it for us for the first portion of the show here on Facebook Live. And I do want to thank you all for joining me. We're going to kick it over to Spreaker now, exclusively, Spreaker.com/user/The.Fan Show, where I have my one-on-one with Jose Jefferson, the head of College Gridiron Showcase. We talk about some teasers for that for 2020. As well as his thoughts on the IFL offseason. And then, of course, we finish it out with his thoughts on the CIF-NAL partnership. So I do want to thank you guys for joining me for this portion of the show. And let's see. Rodney says that Prince was on point. I think Prince was on point, too. I'll give you that one. So we will have an all-new episode on Tuesday. Don't forget to check the Fan Show Facebook page for updates. You can follow me on Twitter at Fan Show Official and check out the Instagram, The Fan Show. We have a YouTube channel as well, which is where all of our video content shows up. If you can't listen live, if you can't tune in live, then make sure that you are subscribed. Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. And then, of course, Spreaker.com, which is where we record and broadcast these episodes live from. And if you're lucky enough to like the Facebook page, which has over 2,000 likes and counting, then you can catch the first portion of the show live, and you can interact with us through the comments section. I always love to hear from you guys. So, remember, it's not official unless it's Fan Show Official, and we are officially at the next part of our episode, my one-on-one with Jose Jefferson. We'll see you guys Tuesday and enjoy my conversation with Jose. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now on a day of big news in the world of indoor, but also to talk a little bit about outdoor, is a man who is the head of College Gridiron Showcase, Jose Jefferson. Mr. Jefferson, welcome back. How you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. We are under the 100-day mark from CGS. What can you tell us about what will make 2020 CGS so special?
It's going to be the largest event that we've had yet. I just sent an email out to our staff, and I'm still shocked that I'm saying we're in year 6, because 6 years ago I wouldn't imagine, that we would still be doing this. But we will probably have as many athletes or more than the National Scouting Combine. So I'm really excited for what that's going to bring. Plus, we're going to add in international players. And we're doing some things off the field, which are kind of groundbreaking as well too, because we'll have for the first time in 6 years, we'll have a keynote speaker and some coaches, some former NFL coaches, some former college coaches that will attend, and it's going to be a great event. So I'm really excited for this year, and it's been easy because it's our second year in Fort Worth, so it's basically same song, second verse. So we're going to get things going real well this year.
Yeah, very excited for another year in Fort Worth with the College Gridiron Showcase. And, of course, this is just the teaser portion of the show. We'll have a lot more in-depth conversation about everything going on well before the event, probably in the next couple weeks, and then leading up to the event just like last year. But I know that you've been very excited about everything that's been going on, including the possibility of maybe a high school event. Is that correct?
Correct. And it's different than what we've done before or what anybody's doing. We're not doing a game or practice. We're doing a symposium for these kids on a lot of things, various topics, from the recruiting process, the admissions process, sexual violence as a player, training, things of that nature. So this is for parents and high school kids, and I think it's going to be pretty groundbreaking because nobody really does that. And once again, it's an opportunity to be the people that we didn't have coming out, because I didn't have training on any of those things. And it's like getting married. You're preferably you're only going to do it once, and so I'm just saying that. I mean, the goal is to do it once, but I guess a better acronym is just basically saying being born. You only get one chance to be born, and so nobody preps you for these things, and we're just taking an opportunity to try to prep guys for it, because you only go to college that one time. You only do the first time one time, going to college, getting the NFL draft. You only have one time to do those things. And so we want to make sure that guys are as well informed as they possibly can be.
Yeah, it is very exciting stuff. And like I said, just teasers for now. We'll talk more in depth later, and very excited about College Gridiron Showcase 2020 and everything new that's coming to the event, and everything that has made it great, that will continue to make it even better. But it's all about the development of young players, and we know that the indoor game is also a chance to develop younger players, and it's been quite the off season so far, and you have a little bit of a hand in the IFL as far as one of the scouts, and just kind of what would it be, a go-to for film and a few other tasks that you've been assigned by the Sioux Falls Storm. How excited have you been about the off season so far and the league's expansion?
It's always a soap opera every year. I mean, I've been involved in indoor football since 1998. And it really hasn't changed. Teams change, coaches change, leagues change. But it's like a drug, or the mafia. You get out and it just pulls you back in. And I truly do enjoy the game. I really enjoy indoor football. I truly think it's good for communities. It's good for guys looking for opportunities. It's great for coaches. Working with Sioux Falls last year was amazing. It was a dream season in terms of, my involvement, how the playoffs ended up, how the championship ended up. And quite honestly, I was very happy with riding off into the sunset to doing indoor football, from playing to coaching to front office and in winning a championship. And I was voluntold by Curtis Riggs that I was coming back this year. So that was it was flattering that he wanted me to come back, and I thought we worked well together. And it'll be a really good year this year, but never short of drama. Never.
Yeah, the league meetings have concluded. Here, there's big news coming out of that. Can't wait to get the official announcement for whatever that may be. But we have some coaching changes. Dixie to Tucson, and to fill the Iowa void, it was just announced Amir Ishmael. And then, of course, there's the rumor that Billy Back recently resigned from the Cobras, will be making his way to the Pacific Northwest for Spokane. So all those coaches, including Kevin Guy and Curtis Riggs and, of course, Pig Brown, in the same league competing against each other, that itch you have. Do you want to maybe scratch it and put the headset back on again?
Nope. Nope. At some point in time, I probably beat all those guys, so I'm not worried about it. I am void of ego with all that. No, I mean, all kidding aside, it's amazing when you look at the IFL, where it started, where it is now, and some of the guys that they have in the Hall of Fame now, which are rightly deservedly so, which is fine. I really think they missed the boat on some of the guys that were before, and including myself. I mean, if it's resume versus resume, I put my resume up against all those guys. I mean, I have 92 victories as a head coach. I mean, that's a huge margin of victories, and I think it's like 59 losses, 92 and 59, something crazy like that. But either way, my time as a head coach in this league is probably gone, and I really enjoy my role with Sioux Falls and support. Working with Riggs is really good. For a guy who has won as much as he has, he asks so many questions. And I mean, and that's not a slam or a knock at all. I think it's amazing because it shows me he's still wanting to learn stuff. Yeah. Which I've known Curtis when he was a player in 1999, 2000, and like I said, I don't think he was ever. I mean, obviously, anybody who ever has been a head coach has a little bit of arrogance to them, and they should. But I thought working for him would be, more like I say, you do, do as I say, do, kind of guy. And he really is not. And like I said, with these new guys, all of them, I know all of them. I respect all of them. And, all joking aside, great competitors and obviously talented guys. But as for me, your career always boomerangs, and what I mean by that is, when you're going up, it always comes back to you. And between doing CGS and helping Riggs, I know my role has been in talent evaluation, organization, and administration. And you don't choose your destiny; it picks you. And like I said, would I love to go coach again? Yes. However, I think I'd be the worst coach in the IFL right now. And,
oh, wow.
The reason being is that all I want to do is to walk through and coach the games. That's it. These guys put in time, and I have a great respect for that. And I remember being that young Thundercat and putting in 12 hours, watching umpteen hours of film. And with Riggs, I don't watch as much film because I do a lot of the offensive breakdowns. I don't deal with the defense. So I'm watching half the amount of film that I would because I'm not doing special teams. I'm not doing defense. It's just offense. So, I mean, I break down other teams' defenses, which in the IFL, pretty easy. You know, you got, two fronts, a 31 or a 32. You can only do so much in coverage, plus you got four motion. Yeah, I mean, it's not killer. You just have to be efficient with what you do and smart. But do I want to put in that time? No. And God love those guys. And I'm envious because I don't have that drive anymore as much, but I still have the knowledge. And that's what Curtis has tapped into. And together, I thought we did really well last year. And just when I didn't know how much I'm contributing, he gives me a lot of credit for the personnel, for what we've done on offense. And so I'm part of it, but not as deep into it that most people would expect. And to go against those guys, head to head, if I was a head coach, I'm probably going to have my hands full because, like I said, I haven't been a head coach in a while. But no, I think they're all good hires. They're all going to do their thing. And it's indoor football. It's not rocket science. And I'm excited to see how they're going to rejuvenate themselves in different places. That's always the tough part. Dixie won a championship in Iowa. I'm not going to say he's not going to win one in Tucson, but when you got to play Arizona every year, that's where you got to go through.
Yeah.
That's and you got to play your boss. That's a different dynamic there. And then Amir, I think, is going to have an interesting time because you got to wonder if those guys will follow Dixie to Iowa or stick around. And that's going to be a different dynamic. And he has his, database of players. And so that might be a new team. Billy, same way. If Billy goes out to Spokane, good hire. However, how much of those guys are going to still continue to follow him, and that's where recruiting is going to go in. But they're all good coaches, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if their mom is out there or they got a league MVP. They're going to be coached up, and they're going to be competitive. So I don't have any doubts that they're all going to be tough ones to go play against.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun season right now as far as the landscape goes and the expansion. I know that the news isn't over just yet, but of course, with you and Coach Riggs, I know that they say that the people that are great at their jobs ask a lot of questions. I know I've been accused of asking a lot of questions while in my program right now for sportscasting, so I certainly hope to be a part of what I am imagining will be a great 2020 campaign for the IFL. I came up with a proposal, put it in the hands of the people that hopefully can do something with it, and now it's just a hurry up and wait game, which you and I are all too familiar with. But
without a doubt, I think hopefully they'll do the right thing by you. You do a very good job with information. You do a very good job with professionalism, and I think and I'm not speaking for the whole indoor community, IFL community, but I think you're respected and you're a go-to guy with all that. So being in this thing as long as I have never experienced deeper coverage with IFL, and granted technology has changed and times have changed, but still you do a hell of a job. So I hope it falls in your favor.
Well, thank you very much for the vote of confidence. Another thing that happened today was the official announcement of the partnership. A lot of people are hung up on the verbiage here. If it's a merger, a partnership, or whatever it is that you want to call it, between the CIF and the NAL. And our question of the day that I'll put out to you is this a desperate move or is this a genius move by the two leagues?
I think genius, that's a pretty strong term. Not being involved in either one of those leagues, I really don't know the landscape, but being involved in indoor football as long as I have, I can tell you just geographically, none of it really makes sense. I mean, you have a strictly Midwestern league from north to south, not too much east, not too much west, and now you're bringing in a strictly southeast, eastern league to come in. You have two different styles of game that you have to deal with. You have two commissioners that you have to deal with. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, and I could be reaching here. Like I said, this is not the truth, but it's my truth. It's hard to call yourself an economical league and you have the distance between the teams that you do. Now, granted, not everybody's going to play everybody, but still, it's a tough sell to sit there and have the CIF. I remember when that was on the table, the CIF merging with the IFL, and then talking about distance. Well, how is Sioux City going to go play Arizona? We can't do that, and we don't want to do this. Yet now you're talking Sioux City may possibly have to play Jacksonville. I mean, I will say this. I don't know if I'm a genius, but isn't that 6 in one, half a dozen in the other? I mean, I'm not questioning somebody's judgment on that, but you're going to have to explain that to me like a 6-year-old. That what is the difference between Sioux City going to Arizona or Sioux City going to Jacksonville? Outside of one's west and one's east, So I hope for their sake it works out. And I say for their sake, because if it doesn't work out, guess what? They're going to be a wounded animal trying to come to the IFL or try to form another league. And, regardless, yes, I'm an IFL guy from, through and through. But when those leagues fail, we all fail. We really do, because the fans know the difference. IFL, CIF, NIL, AFL, but the common person that's just a football person in general and just sees football, they think we're all the same. So when one of us fails, we all fail. So for their matter, and whoever's listening from the CIF or NAL, I have no animosity with them, and I hope they do well. But wow, that's a tough sell to sit there and say we won't merge with the IFL because of this, yet merge with the NAL because of the same issue. So don't know. I'm not in those rooms. All I know is what I see, just like everybody else.
Absolutely, but you have been around it long enough to know what smells good and what smells, well, maybe not so good. So I always value your input, especially as an unbiased third party. You have no horse in this race, no dog in this fight, so we will keep our eyes and ears on this as it develops. But I'm personally just so stoked for the news to come out of the IFL meetings. I think that no matter what the CIF and NAL do, not that it's supposed to be a war or a contest, but obviously, if you look, read between the lines, there's a little bit of that there. But I think that with everything that the IFL has going on right now with these coach signings and the expansion, that they are creating quite a separation between themselves and the other leagues in the area. So I'm glad that you can be a part of it.
Oh, I am. I'm biased towards the IFL because, like I said, you're talking since 1998. So I'm very loyal to where I started. But these other leagues, I mean, I think the ownership group in the IFL is a little stronger. I think the style of play, I didn't say the players because they got some talented guys there as well too. I think the style of play is better. What it presents. I mean, when you can have a true running game, you can play some smash mouth football in the IFL and get away with it. In the NAL, you're playing arena rules, and a lot of guys that are really good athletes that are in those areas that can't go anywhere can't play running back because of the rules that they set. The CIF uses the tight end, which is an arena rule as well too, but you either have to use an athletic lineman or a true tight end, and the more rules you change, the more questions you put up to the officials. And I think the officials are bad. They're, I remember being in the coaching meetings, and they were talking about, we need to change this rule, we need to change that rule. And I'm like, let's stick with the rules we have, because the more rules we change, guess what? They're going to get screwed up. I distinctly remember coaching in the UIF, which would start at the IFL again. And I remember questioning a call to an official, walking up to him, and I go, ugh, wrong league, sorry. Because, yeah, it was a rule from a former league that we had that, it was the NIFL that merged into the UIF, and it was an NIFL rule, and I was like, they just totally blew that. And I sat there and I literally stopped myself and said, sorry, wrong league. And the official laughed too. And he said, you're right. In this old league, that would have been penalty. Now it's not. So I just think they have a lot more hurdles than the IFL. And it's like CGS being in Fort Worth for the next year. CGS is going to be great this year because guess what? I have no surprises. I know what's going on in Fort Worth. I know exactly what I'm getting. And it's the same with the IFL. They're not changing rules. There may be some changes. There may be some changes with teams. There may be some changes with ownership. But guess what? These leagues can say that. AFL, which I played in. I mean, you got guys that are superstars in AFL that were making as much money as me, and I rode the bench. That's a change. So like I said, I'm far from an expert on all of it. The difference between me and a lot of people, and that's what me and Riggs were talking about, between both of us, we have over 50 years of indoor football experience. That's sick. Over 50 years between two guys, and we were laughing about that and saying, God, we're either really old or pretty experienced. And I said, we're old, but I think I'm wise enough to know, when you see the same pig in different lipstick, I do know that. And like I said, I'm all be successful because once again, from the NFL standpoint, they may acknowledge the different leagues, NIL, IFL, IF, AFL, it doesn't matter. They still see indoor football as indoor football. And for any of these guys to develop, all of it has got to be successful. All of it has got to be a marketable product. You can't have some of the, for lack of a better word, shenanigans, tomfoolery, whatever you want to call it, going on with some of these teams and expect NFL teams to go, oh, yeah, okay, well, we'll come down. And if we truly want to be a developmental league, we truly want to advertise that and move these guys along, you've got to sustain. And that's what come, like I said, they fail, we all fail.
Yep.
'Cause that's what they look at. Sorry to ramble that point, but it's been in my for too long to not acknowledge those things.
No, I get it, man, and I hope that we're making moves in the right direction. Certainly, I'm the eternal optimist, as you know, but I certainly hope that 2020 is a game changer of a year. Some pieces being put in place would make me think that, yes, that is the front that we're trying to put on here is that, onward and upward the best way that we can. So, Jose, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I look forward to everything coming out with CGS. And, of course, that happens less than 100 days in Fort Worth, Texas. Going to be a lot of fun, but I'll let you get back to your work never stops, and emails and phone calls and lawn mowing and dinner and everything in between. So thank you again for your time.
You're very welcome, and we will talk soon, my friend.
All right. You have a good one now.
You too.
And one more big thank you to Jose Jefferson. Again, like I said, great conversation, always very insightful individual and a true friend. Somebody that, in all honesty, in a lot of things that you can't really trust a whole lot of people, he's one of the few that I actually do genuinely trust. So I appreciate him for believing in me and everything that I've done myself and with the F.A.N show. I look forward to College Gridiron Showcase, and we will have more coverage of that for you as we get closer to the big showcase. But that will do it for this Thursday edition, the last episode of September 2019. And we'll see if September's numbers, they've already beat last September's numbers, but will they double September's numbers from last year, because they were on pace to do just that. A month that normally is the start of a decline for me and my content here on the show, because I'm kind of white noise during the football season, has actually been an uptick. How crazy is that? Well, I owe it all to you, Fan Nation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Double it or not, these numbers for this month have been fantastic. And it's not official unless it's Fan Show official, and we are officially out of here. So again, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.